What if love, at its core, is not about safety at all, but about the dangerous magnetism of chaos? Modern culture often sells us a sterilized image of love, one polished enough to fit social expectations. In this version, women are said to desire stability, kindness, and predictability. Yet beneath polite smiles and socially approved answers, there may be a deeper pull toward something wilder, something that unsettles rather than reassures. This is not mere speculation. More than a century ago, Nietzsche recognized this tension in ancient myth, in the violence of history, and in the intensity of human passion. To grasp this truth is to shift not only how we understand relationships, but also how we perceive power itself. Picture this. A man enters the room. He is steady, reliable, gentle. He represents everything society tells us to admire. A provider, a listener, a man who follows the rules. And yet, despite his devotion, he watches the woman he loves drawn toward the storm, toward a man who embodies danger rather than safety. That man is unpredictable, at times ruthless, and he awakens something that stability cannot. Nietzsche named this primal force the Dionysian impulse, a chaotic energy hidden beneath the thin veneer of civilization. In The Birth of Tragedy, he contrasted Apollo, the god of order, with Dionysus, the god of frenzy and excess. While culture worships Apollo, it is Dionysus who seems to capture the human heart. History echoes this theme. Helen of Troy, whose beauty launched 1,000 ships, did not abandon her world for predictability. She left because Paris represented risk, the unknown, the spark of chaos. The Greeks built an entire mythology around the idea of a woman choosing disorder over duty. Consider Cleopatra as well. She did not captivate Caesar and Antony by offering certainty. She enthralled them through daring moves, dangerous allure, and the temptation of the forbidden. Even now, the fantasies that captivate many women are rarely about scheduled dates or carefully filed tax returns. They revolve around pirates, rebels, and outlaws, figures who shatter the predictable and embody a world in motion. Let me share a modern story. Imagine a man named James. On paper, he is flawless. Secure job, dependable, always present when needed. Yet his girlfriend leaves him for a musician who can barely pay rent. James is outraged, convinced his devotion should have guaranteed loyalty. "After everything I've done for her," he protests. But the brutal truth is this: she did not leave because he was good to her. She left because he was too safe. Nietzsche sensed this long before modern psychology gave it language. In Beyond Good and Evil, he remarked that the same emotion takes on a different rhythm in men and women, which is why the two will never cease to misunderstand each other. Men are taught that safety is the essence of love. Women may voice that they desire safety, but what they truly respond to is intensity. Think back to the last time you saw a woman absolutely radiant. Was it because a man recited his resume to her? Or was it when he disrupted her expectations, when he stirred her emotions, when he brought her into contact with something alive and unpredictable? This is not manipulation. It is the raw nature of human attraction. In Thus Spoke Zarathustra, Nietzsche declared that one must have chaos within to give birth to a dancing star. Women do not fall in love with schedules or plans. They fall in love with vitality. Yet here lies the paradox. If chaos is the key, why do women insist they want order? Nietzsche hinted at the answer in the darker corners of his writing. The greatest trick society ever played was convincing the world that women long for safety above all else. We hear it repeated endlessly. She wants a good man, a steady man, a respectful man. But again and again, she finds herself pulled towards someone else entirely, the one who makes her feel something she cannot explain, the one who makes her feel alive in ways that logic cannot justify. The contradiction is striking because what women say and what they instinctively respond to are not the same. Nietzsche knew the reason. Civilization is a cage. For thousands of years, social order has rested on a silent contract. Men protect, women nurture. Stability ensured survival. Predictability meant prosperity. As a result, women learned to say they wanted the provider, the steady hand, the man who builds a home instead of burning it down. But biology does not bend to cultural scripts. Beneath the surface, deep within human desire, something older than civilization still burns. Something wild, something Dionysian. Nietzsche saw it in ancient rites, in the frenzied dances of Bacchic worship, in the way women of myth always moved toward danger instead of away from it. Helen, Cleopatra, Salome. They did not choose kings, they chose storms. And yet, if you ask a modern woman what she wants, she will recite the script handed down to her. A good man, a man who communicates well, a man who is reliable. But words are one thing and actions another. Imagine the scene. Two men approach a woman at a bar. The first is polite, well-dressed, asks about her career, and offers to buy her a drink. He is safe. The second leans in, smirks, and says something that should be offensive. But the way he says it, the confidence, the unpredictability, makes her laugh. Which man do you think she gives her number to? We both know the answer. This is not about good or bad. It is about intensity. Nietzsche once wrote that the entire nature of woman is a riddle, and that her very capacity for creation is a mystery to be solved. Women are drawn to what they cannot immediately understand, to what resists them, to what forces them to strive for recognition. Think about the last time a woman lost interest in a man. Was it not because he was too available, too eager, too willing to bend to her every wish? Now recall the man she could not forget. Was he not the one who delayed his reply, who never begged for her approval, who seemed indifferent to whether she stayed or left? This is not manipulation, it is instinct. Nietzsche described it as the will to power. Women do not want a man they can control. They want a man who cannot be tamed. History confirms this. Lord Byron, reckless and drowning in scandal, drew women to him like moths to flame. Casanova was not the most handsome, nor the wealthiest. His power was danger, and danger was irresistible. Even the brooding Heathcliff of Wuthering Heights haunted Catherine, not because he was gentle, but because he could not be subdued. Society hides this truth. Women are not in love with men as individuals. They are in love with the way men make them feel. And what they feel most deeply is the thrill of pursuit, the fear of loss, the intoxication of uncertainty. Nietzsche said it plainly. Woman, he argued, is not peaceful by nature, no matter how much she learns to appear serene. She may say she craves safety, but her blood remembers something else. The problem, however, is that chaos cuts both ways. If it is the key to attraction, why does it destroy so many men? Because there is a fine line between controlled chaos and self-destruction, between becoming the storm and being swallowed by it. Most men cannot walk this line. In every woman's memory lives the shadow of a man who left his mark. Not the one who bought her flowers, not the one who remembered every birthday, the one who made her heart race, the one who could walk away without looking back, the one whose presence carried electricity and whose absence became torment, the one who did not need her, and for that reason she needed him. This is where men so often fail. They confuse chaos with recklessness. They assume unpredictability means instability. They mistake danger for self-destruction, and in that confusion, they lose. Nietzsche warned us clearly, whoever fights with monsters must take care not to become one, and if you gaze too long into the abyss will gaze back into you. Chaos left untamed consumes a man. Chaos mastered makes him unstoppable. Consider two men. The first is unstable, drowning in drink, prone to violent outbursts, incapable of holding steady work. He is unpredictable, yes, but in a way that drives people away rather than pulling them closer. The second is different. He is calm without being weak, confident without arrogance. He never needs to prove himself, and that is precisely what makes him magnetic. When he speaks, people lean in. When he falls silent, they wonder what thoughts he guards. He does not follow the script laid before him. He writes his own. Who earns respect? Who inspires obsession? The difference lies in control. Nietzsche's higher man, his vision of the Übermensch, is not a wild beast tearing itself apart. He is a storm that has been forged and disciplined. He does not dissolve in chaos. He wields it. 3 pillars support this form of controlled chaos. The first is the power of indifference. Most men overreact. They orbit around women, waiting for permission, waiting for signs of approval, waiting to be told they are enough. The man who has mastered chaos does not wait. He does not need validation. He is not cold. He is sovereign. Nietzsche wrote that the noble soul reveres itself. Women do not chase men who chase them. They chase men whose lives are already full. The second is the art of unpredictable value. Think about the last person who truly captivated you. Was it because they did exactly what you expected, or because they startled you, because they disrupted your assumptions? A man who is predictable is a man who fades from memory. A man who is unpredictable in the right way lingers forever. This does not mean erratic behavior. It means mystery. One day, he is fierce, focused, beyond reach. The next, he is playful, teasing, disarming. He does not dance to her rhythm. She finds herself moving to his. The third is walking the edge of danger without collapsing into ruin. Women are not drawn to safety, but neither are they drawn to men who are broken. The secret is to embody just enough danger to spark fascination without crossing the line into destruction. He is not angry. He is intense. He is not cruel. He is unshakable. He does not seek conflict, yet he is never afraid of it. Nietzsche's ideal was a warrior philosopher, a man who thinks like a sage, but acts with the presence of a conqueror. But this raises the final question: how does one keep chaos from devouring him? Too many men set out on this path only to become the very monsters they sought to master. They reach for power and in the process lose themselves. What we arrive at now is the ultimate art of balance, the skill of drawing upon chaos without surrendering the soul. This is the place where legends are made or where men are destroyed. Every man encounters a moment when he stands at the edge of his own power and hesitates. He has felt the intoxication of control, the way a room shifts when he walks in, the way women lean forward when he speaks, the way reality itself seems to bend around his presence. Yet beneath the rush, there is always a whisper, a warning. This is the path by which men lose themselves. Chaos is not merely a tool. Like fire, it can either warm you or burn you alive, depending on who holds the torch. Nietzsche understood this more deeply than anyone. His command to become who you are was not gentle advice. It was a demand, a challenge, a gauntlet thrown at the feet of any man bold enough to confront his own nature. This is the ultimate lesson. History is littered with men who danced with chaos and failed the test. Lord Byron, the poet who bewitched nations, died alone at 36, consumed by his demons. Van Gogh, whose genius blazed like a star, cut off his own ear in a spiral of madness. Hemingway, the bullfighter, the soldier, the myth himself, ended his life with a shotgun. These men understood power. They understood passion, but they stumbled at the last threshold. They never learned to rule over themselves. Nietzsche once warned that those who climb the highest mountains laugh at every tragedy, real or imagined. The difference between a king and a corpse is not strength, nor intelligence, nor even willpower. It is self-mastery. And mastery rests on 3 unshakable laws. The first is the iron core. Chaos attracts because it feels alive, yet without something unbreakable at the center, it turns erratic, destructive, and suicidal. The man who masters chaos is not without rules. He is the one who creates rules for himself. His confidence does not come from outside validation. It rises from an inner code. His unpredictability is never random. It is deliberate. He is unafraid of losing others because he knows he will never lose himself. Nietzsche's Übermensch does not rebel against all morality. He forges his own. The second is the discipline of the storm. There is a difference between a storm and the man who commands it. The storm destroys blindly. The master chooses what to break, when to be gentle, when to be ruthless, and when to walk away. His will is a sharpened blade. He can love with depth, but never with need. He can fight with ferocity, but never in blind rage. He can step into the fire and emerge cleaner than when he entered. The third is the art of the phoenix. Every man who flirts with chaos will eventually be burned. The difference between those who rise and those who collapse is simple. The master learns to be reborn from his own ashes. Nietzsche called it amor fati, the love of fate. It is not only the acceptance of wounds, but the wearing of them as armor. It is not only surviving the storm, but turning the storm into his own weapon. Here lies the truth most refuse to admit. Chaos is not a trick, not a tactic, not a mask that can be put on and taken off. It is a choice, a way of living, a form of faith. And like every true faith, it demands sacrifice. It will cost you the approval of the weak, the affection of those who cannot keep pace, and the safety of a predictable life. But in exchange, it offers the only thing worth having: yourself. So, the challenge is set before you. The storm is already here. Will you flee from it, or will you ride it?